In today's episode of the Q&A, we are joined by Port Vale goalkeeper Scott Brown. He talks about his career up to date, how he struggled through the Wolves Academy, his parents being a professional tennis and professional squash player, and much more. If you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let's get to 200 subscribers. Also, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. And if you want to see more Q&As, put it in the comment section below. Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we're going to be starting a new series of Q&As, and today we are joined by the Port Vale legend Scott Brown. Scott, how are you in this afternoon?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for having me on. No
problem. So let's get straight into it and talk about the game yesterday a bit against Oldham, and so many chances. We could have had to go front 6 or 7 good chances. Do you think that maybe if we had fans back in the stadium, we could have tucked one of those chances away? Or do you think it was a lack of concentration? Or do you think it was just unluck?
I think we were really unlucky yesterday. We had a lot of balls in the box, and it was great to have Was back and David Moose second half as well. He looked really sharp as well. We were just really unlucky, but sometimes when you have got the fans there, the momentum is more behind you than ever before, especially at Vale Park. And like I say, it's just football isn't the same without fans at all. It's still even though I think we're 35 games into the season now, it just doesn't feel right at all. Every game is just like almost like a pre-season friendly sort of thing. As much as you try your hardest for it not to be, it's just not the same without the fans, especially at Vale Park.
Yeah. And I could describe the game as agonising and lip biting. All those Was put some brilliant balls in. Rodney wasn't far away from getting his toe on one. Amu wasn't far off. Guthrie had 4 or 5 great chances. But we had a bit of a goal drought. Then we went to Cheltenham, got 2 late goals. And then we've got the draw. Unfortunate, no goals. Do you think that maybe against Bolton, we beat them, was it 6-2 last season away? Do you think that we could maybe grab another 6 goals
there? We'd take a 1-0 win, I think. But I think the Bolton away was a real special game for everyone. They're probably one of the bigger teams in the league, and to go there and score 6 was absolutely fantastic. But we know that they're a really good footballing team, and like I say, we know what a really tough game it's going to be on Saturday, because they've got some fantastic players. They've got goals all over the pitch with Sarkovic, Doyle, and Delfonso, and we've even got Marcus Maddison there as well, who came off the bench the other night. So we know what a quality player he is as well. So it's going to be a really tough game, but fingers crossed we can get a good result and look forward then to Tuesday night. But we're not looking past Saturday at the moment.
Yeah. So let's go a bit back in time. And first of all, as a child, what really made you fall in love with football and feel like, I want to do this as a job when I'm older?
To be honest, I think my concentration levels as a kid and probably as a grown-up still haven't improved too much, and I was forever just I always wanted to sit by the window and just keep looking out the window. I just wanted to be out there. I don't know what you were like in class or anything like that, but I just keep looking out the window, and I just wanted to be outside playing. I didn't want to be in the classroom, and like I say, I just ever from a young age, I just love sports, love being active, and just hated being still. And I just think it came from there, really, just not wanting to be in the classroom more than anything.
Have you ever tried a different position, or has it always been goalkeeper for you?
To be honest, I never probably really wanted to be a goalie, or never even thought about it. But I think when I was at Bilbrook Juniors, which was my first Sunday league club, about under 9s or under 10s, I ended up getting stuck in goal for like a shooting session, and I did okay. And from there, they just said, do you want to stay in? And I was like, yeah, well, why not? But I think a lot of the hand-eye coordination sort of thing comes from my mum and dad, because my dad was a professional tennis coach for 40 odd years, 50 years, and my mum was a squash player. So she she was a professional squash player. So, like I say, I think my hand-eye coordination came from them and seeing the balls and things like that. But everyone says to me, "Why weren't you a tennis or squash player or whatever?" But you know what it's like. You don't want to you don't want to listen to your mum and dad do when they tell you to do anything. So I didn't want to listen to them when I was having a tennis or squash lesson.
Yeah, I've got one of my friends from my football team. He plays for Midbrook Juniors. And they say that their goalkeeper looks up to you. He's a massive Port Vale fan. And he said he just wants to be just like you. So it's, it's that effect that like professionals have just being at a Sunday league to almost going professional at a high level. It just has an effect on other people and inspires them, to just have that extra push and sort of follow in those footsteps.
Yeah, well, thank you, your friend, very much for the support. I really appreciate it. And like I say, if there's anything I can do to help him, just let us know. But I think that's one of the worst things about not having fans at the game or anything like that is being able to speak to people and things like that, because that's one thing that I love doing. I love speaking to people and things like that. And I think that's a real shame for everyone.
Yeah. And you did also play for Wolves from under 12s to under 18s. So can you just tell us a bit about how that felt? To think, because you obviously supported Wolves, to know that I could potentially be playing for them when I grow up.
Yeah, and obviously, originally I got spotted for Birmingham City from when I was playing in the Sunday League. So me and another lad from Bilbrook Juniors, we went on trial there. My mum took me over there for 3 weeks in a row, and on the third week they were told that this would be the last session because the academy's been shut down because of the funding. So I then went to, fortunately, the other lad, Robin Sheffield, who I was with, his father had a contact at Wolves. So we were invited over for a trial there, and I was fortunate enough they had goalie coaches there and everything, which was unbelievable. And I did okay there and got signed, and managed to stay all the way through the age groups. And I think when your hometown club, there's a lot more pressure on you, a lot more expectation, because you've got everybody is asking, how's it going, how's this going, how's that. And there's a lot more pressure. And I remember going into my academy meeting at 16 to find out whether I was going to be getting offered a contract or not. And the letter was meant to come in the post. It was, I thought anyway, on the day, the Tuesday morning it was, but the post came and there was nothing there. So then my mum says, "Oh well, we spoke to Chris Evans, and you've got to go in for a meeting at 4:00." So I went in at 4:00 with my mum and dad, and I was that convinced that I wasn't going to get offered a scholarship, that when he said that we were going to offer you something, my mum and dad said my face didn't move, because I was that convinced that I'd heard, we're not going to offer you a scholarship. I'd convinced myself that much that there wasn't going to be something there. But my mum and dad at this point already knew that they were going to offer me something. So they were just staring at me. But like I say, I think the expectation when it's your hometown club is a lot more, and it's a lot harder to do, because like there's a lot of people that want to see you fail as well, unfortunately, because they're jealous of the position that you're in, and that puts a lot more pressure on you to do well.
And so you say that you got scouted for Birmingham, and then the academy did shut down. So was your friend invited to Wolves, and then they invited you?
Yeah, we both got invited at the same time. He was an outfield player, so I didn't really have a lot to do with him at the time. Unfortunately, Robin got released at about under 14s, and I don't really speak to him, to be honest, anymore. But you just lose contact, sort of thing. But it's a real shame, because you grow up with kids, you see them 2-3 times a week and everything like that, and then they're not involved in the same setup as you, which is really difficult as well, because you just want all your friends to do well as yourself.
Yeah. So when you did get released, how did this affect you mentally?
It was really tough, to be honest. Like I say, it was because it's your hometown club as well, and you've got everyone asking your mum and dad how you're doing, how's do you think he's got a chance? Do you think this? And I remember being called into the office at the end of one season and just being told that they thought that Wayne Hennessy and Carl Akimi were going to be better goalkeepers than me, and at the time I was like, no, you're wrong. But they've obviously been proven right, because Carl and Wayne were absolutely unbelievable goalies, and Wayne's still obviously playing, and Carl would be still playing in the Prem now if it wasn't. Yeah, and Carl, obviously, if he didn't have his leukemia and things like that, he'd still be playing in the Prem now as well. So I remember just getting in the car and crying all the way home, calling my mum, telling her to come back from work, and having to tell my mum and dad was the hardest thing ever, because they put so much into me, like traveling up and down the country and things like that, and picking me up from school to take me back to football or whatever, and telling them was so hard. But then you're telling your friends as well, and like I say, you can tell that when you're telling your friends that there's a little bit of satisfaction for them, because they were so jealous of where you were, and because that's what every kid, pretty much most kids dream of being footballers, and they were jealous of where I was, and I think there's a lot of jealousy involved in that. So that was hard as well. And I think the hardest part for me was no club wanted an 18-year-old goalie who hadn't played any games or anything like that, and so I had to go and get a job, and I worked in a sports shop in town. It was called Ron Flower Sports, and I remember like all the youth team lads came in after training, and I was working there, and they were asking me to get this size boot, that size boot, and I just felt like about absolutely tiny. And that was one of the hardest days for me, that one.
And going back to where you and your friend got offered at Wolves after the Birmingham trial, a bit of the same sort of background story to Wazza, as when he was playing Sunday League, his one of his friends also was playing for Bury at the time, and they were one short, and Wazza's friend rang him up and said, "We're one short, do you want to come play for us?" And he said, "Yeah." So bit of a similar story there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that about Waz. I'll have to ask him that tomorrow. I'll ask him.
Yeah. Saw it on one of my coach's podcasts that he did with him. So
yeah, I'll ask you about that tomorrow.
So what made you sort of keep on going after you got released?
Just because I didn't have anything else to do, to be honest. No, I said to myself I was going to give it one more year. So I went and played part-time in the Welsh Premier League and carried on working in the sports shop. And like I say, that playing in the Welsh Premier League was obviously the standard's not particularly great, but for an 18-year-old goalie playing men's football, it was absolutely brilliant for me. It was the first taste of men's football I had, and it was just brilliant to play men's competitive football, because sometimes academy football, the result isn't the be all and end all. But this time it was all about the result, and to play there for 3-4 months was absolutely brilliant, and it was a fantastic experience for me.
So would you feel like was it Welshpool?
Welshpool, yeah.
Do you feel like going to Welshpool sort of got your career going again?
To be honest, the biggest stroke of luck, I'd say it was more luck than anything, because Mike Stowell, who was goalkeeper coach at Bristol City at the time, he was also academy goalkeeper coach at Wolves when I was there. And just out of the blue on I can't remember, it was Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon, he called me up and just said, what are you doing? Would you like to come down to Bristol City for a trial? We're after a young goalie. And I was like, wow, yeah, that'd be unbelievable. Because so much that you have to be so lucky in football. And like I say, if I hadn't had that phone call, then I'd probably still be working in the sports shop playing in the Welsh Premier League. But like I say, you need that's the biggest stroke of luck I've ever had in my career, and I'll be forever grateful for that.
So Mike Stowell sort of got your career going again. Obviously, you went to live with him for a bit. You didn't unfortunately get a start for Bristol City. Bristol. Is it Bristol Rovers or Bristol City?
Bristol City.
Yeah.
Bristol City.
You didn't get a start, but do you feel like that sort of got your name heard to other clubs such as Cheltenham and Port Vale?
Yeah, I think obviously going there gets you back in a professional game sort of thing, and yeah, going there was absolutely brilliant, and I was like really grateful for the opportunity to work with Mike and Steve Phillips, who was the other senior goalie there. It was absolutely brilliant, and like I say, just to be with the first team every day was something that I hadn't been used to before. And if I'd still been at Wolves, I wouldn't have been anywhere near it or anything like that. So to go there and to be there and train with the first team every day was absolutely brilliant. And then unfortunately there was a change in manager at the end of the year at Bristol City, and they wanted to go in a different direction. So yeah, I got released from there. And then fortunately the manager at Cheltenham was John Ward, who was the reserve team manager at Wolves at the time, and then asked me to go up there and to have a chat to him, and unfortunately they offered me something, and like as soon as he offered me something, I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And he was like, do you not want to go and speak to your mum and dad? He's like, no, go and speak to your mum and dad. But I was like, I just want to stay in football. I'm desperate to stay in. He's like, no, go and speak to your mum and dad and call me later, because but whatever it was, I was going to take it because I was just that desperate to stay involved in football.
You were at Cheltenham for quite a bit, and you got the experience to play at Wembley in the playoff final against Crewe, where so many, amazing players have established their mark. What was the experience like? Unfortunately, you did lose, but what was that experience like to play at such an established ground?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I think as a kid, you always dream of playing at Wembley. Well, I certainly did anyway. And to have my mum and dad there, and my friends and my wife, well, not at the time, but no, to play at Wembley was an absolute dream come true. And like I say, to have your family there watching you is something that I'll always remember. And it's just obviously, unfortunately, you want to go to Wembley and win, not to watch them walk up the steps. But no, it was a fantastic experience, and obviously, no one can take that away from you.
And after a good season, good few seasons at Cheltenham, winning Player of the Season, going obviously to the final of the playoffs, sort of round it up for us, like, what was some of the best moments you've had at the club?
I think the season we lost the season we came fourth in the league. We lost to Northampton in the playoffs. That was the year after Crewe. I think we kept 21 clean sheets or 20 clean sheets in the season, and that was equal to club record. It was brilliant. We played West Ham away, Everton at home in the cup, which was brilliant, and we played at Tottenham away the year before, which was another fantastic experience. Getting promoted as well in my second season at Cheltenham through the playoffs at the Millennium Stadium was also unbelievable. So I was really fortunate to have some great experiences there and met some fantastic people as well.
And after you had a good few seasons at Cheltenham, you went to the Scottish League to play at Aberdeen. How come you decided to go from a side that were pushing for promotion to League One to then go to a Scottish team?
I'd been at Cheltenham for a good few years, and I felt I was going a little bit stale. Not a bit stale, but I just felt I didn't want to be remembered as Scott Brown, played for Cheltenham for 20 years sort of thing, and he's always been a steady League Two goalie. I just felt I needed that change to push myself and try something new. And I knew that Aberdeen were interested from the year before, because I came in for me the summer before, but nothing could be sorted. So yeah, I was on a free. They waited, and like I said, I knew they were in for me. And Jim Layton was the goalie coach. He was a fantastic man, and obviously a legend of a goalie as well. So to go up there, and it's a fantastic city like Aberdeen, and they were in the Europa League as well. So it was something I couldn't turn down.
Question I've always wanted to ask someone who has the experience of playing in the Scottish League and the English leagues: which league is harder, the Scottish Premier League or the League Two?
There's a big difference in the quality of the teams. You've got your Celtic and your Rangers, who are probably probably top of the champ, bottom of the Prem sort of standard, and then you've got your Aberdeens, your Hibs, your Hearts, who are probably bottom of the champ, League One, and then you've got the rest of the teams who you're probably realistically looking at bottom end of League Two, National League sort of thing. So there's a big gap between all the teams in there, as you can see, with the difference in the points and the quality. So it was, but the thing that I struggled with, the expectation at Aberdeen was ridiculous, because you go from Cheltenham, where there's 2,000-3,000 there every week, and they're not overly bothered if you, obviously they're desperate for you to win, but and then you go to Aberdeen and there's 16,000-17,000 every week, and with the history of their club, they expect you to be 3-4-0 up every week after 60-70 minutes, and if you're not there, then they're on your back straight away. So that was a really different expectation sort of thing that I had been used to.
And you helped the team to get to the second in the Scottish League. Just what was the feeling like to know that you were so close, but yet so far at the same time from going for one of your first titles as a goalkeeper?
Yeah, I mean, when I signed, the manager had said to me, "Look, we're never going to win the league. That it will be Celtic or Rangers, because that's the financial gap that they've got. They've got the backing. So if we were top by 10 points at Christmas, they could have come and bought all the team to make sure that we didn't win it, because of the financial superiority that we had. So we were always, but to get so close and then not to achieve it, and I think it'll be some time probably before anyone outside the old firm comes as close as what we did to winning the league that year. But no, it was a fantastic experience there. I think kept 8 clean sheets in a row as well, which was brilliant, and broke some club records as well. So I'm really glad I went, and it was a fantastic 2 years up there.
And sort of just speak about what you did after Aberdeen. Was it just straight to Port Vale, or were there any clubs in between that?
No, I went to Wycombe for 2 years, which was brilliant. We got promoted there into League Two, and then towards the end of my contract, I was travelling back and forth from Wolverhampton to Wycombe every day, and it just became too much. And I had a phone call from Port Vale to see if I'd be interested, and I had a decision to make whether to go and play in League Two and League One, and keep travelling up and down the country and being away from my family or not, or staying in League Two and going to a club which was 40 minutes away. And when a club like Port Vale comes in for you, it was really hard to say no.
Yeah. And you signed in 2008, and by late 2020, early 21, you had over 500 appearances, which is a lot of people don't. Is even though you're a goalkeeper, it's still quite a big mark to get. Nearly a millennium in playing for the club. So just like talk about sort of how that felt to know that you've been there, and you've been there all the way through the club's history.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, like to play one professional game as a young kid was a dream. So to play 500 is unbelievable. And like I say, I like to think I look after myself away from football as well, and I think that's a big help, because a lot of people, I think the average lifespan of a footballer is about 5 or 6 years. So fortunately, I've been in it for a long time, and I just treat every day as if you're coming in on trial, and try and impress the manager and the goalie coach and whoever else is watching. So people say, "Oh, you're nervous when a new manager comes in?" It's no, because every day you're trying to impress the manager, the goalie coach, the other coaches, and the players. And yeah, that's the way I've always been, and I'll continue to be.
And you've helped the club to so many different times, such as the FA Cup third round, one of the best moments in the club's history, obviously painted on the home ground, where unfortunately we did lose 4-1, but it was still an amazing experience, travel up to the Etihad and play at the time the best team in the country. And then you've helped them to so many other things, which just talk about sort of how it would feel to know that you would maybe sort of win something this season or next season.
Yeah, obviously playing at Man City was an absolute dream. Sell out at the Etihad. It's something that everyone dreams of, and like I say, to have your family there watching was really special. And I remember when the draw was made, I jumped up and celebrated, and my little boy started crying. But that was something that I'll take with me forever. But obviously, when I signed for Port Vale, I wanted to sign to get promoted to get to League One, but unfortunately, that hasn't worked out. Who knows what would have happened last year if we'd have carried on? But like I say, we just need to finish the season strong and see where it takes us.
And yet, Popey still wanted Stoke in the third round.
I think he wants them every day of the week, whatever, anything.
And just to touch up from the last game that we played last season against, obviously, Cheltenham, how does it feel to go back to that team knowing it was a must-win game? From what we knew at the time, that it was a must-win game for if we wanted to get into the playoffs position.
To be honest, at the time, we were happy with the point going to. They were top three, I think, at the time, or just outside the top three. They were a real form team, so we were really happy with the point. But I don't think anyone foresaw the circumstances that came the week later. And if someone had said that had been the last game you'll play with the crowd there over a year ago, I don't think anyone would have believed you at that stage. So obviously, it's easy to say now looking back, but if we'd have got a penalty that the ref disallowed or whatever, it might have been different. But no, at the time we were really happy with the point, to be honest. But no, like I say, no one could have predicted what's happened since then.
And obviously, playing 500 games, you're going to play against some really quality players, including players from Man City. So, who are some of those best players that you've played with and against?
I think playing against, Aguero obviously was brilliant last year. You could literally name the whole Man City team from last year. But I've been really fortunate to have played against some really good players over my career. Like I said, we played Man City away, Tottenham and West Ham away for Cheltenham, Everton at home, which was brilliant. I played Southampton away. I think Oxlade-Chamberlain made one of his first starts for them. So, like I say, I've been really fortunate to my career to play against some top players, and I've been fortunate to play with some really good ones as well. And I'm going to give Jack a shout out here, Jack Butland, because he was brilliant as well when I played with him. He was only a young 18-year-old, but he was built like an absolute man. He was huge and he was fantastic. But I think the best goalie I've probably ever played with was Matt Murray. He does a lot of Sky work now, but his career finished early through injuries. But he was an absolute beast of a man. He was brilliant. When he was at Wolves, he was like everything. Like you could smash a ball at him and he'd just catch it. And you'd be like, how have you done that? And then any crosses that come in the box, because he was so big, he just came and plucked them out the air. He was absolutely brilliant. So he'd have gone on to play for England, no doubt, if he hadn't had all the injuries.
And finally, would you ever consider becoming a manager or a goalkeeper coach when you retire?
Management, I don't think so. No, I've seen what it's done to managers' hair. It sends them grayer than anything, and ages them about 20 years. But goalie coach, yeah, it's definitely something that I want to do. Like I say, I've done my outfield B, UEFA B, and my goalie UEFA B. I was hoping to go on the goalkeeper A license this year, but the previous manager wasn't keen on me doing that at the time, so that put a stop to that. But yeah, that would have been really good to get that done so early in my career. So, and to be asked to go on that was fantastic. But it's definitely something I'd love to do, and hopefully give a bit of help back if I can.
Yeah, and we know you've just had a newborn. So how's training and how's games with the newborn?
It's a lot better now. My other son's gone back to school. The last few weeks were hard because you're trying to homeschool and get ready for a game as well, sort of thing. And
Yeah.
with the newborn as well, it's really hard. But definitely have a newfound respect for part-time footballers for doing everything and then going into to play games at night as well. It's a hell of an effort. But no, just really grateful that they're all happy and healthy, and that's the most important thing.
Well, thanks for that, Scott. I really enjoyed that, and good luck for Saturday against Bolton, and hope we get the best of the win and the best of points that we can get, and keep a clean sheet. Most important thing for you on the books. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
No worries at all. Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And anything else I can do, just give us a shout.
Yeah, thank you very much.